welcome everyone to Select Start. I'm Dio.
I'm Jay.
And since we just saw the trailer for Black Panther not too long ago, we decided, you know what? Let's replay Lego Marvel's Avengers. Gives us something fun to play, something interesting. And at the same time, we'll get to be able to talk about all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's come out so far. So, I really enjoyed this game. It was fun, but there is definitely a lack of openness, if that makes any kind of sense. Because I also own Lego Batman, Lego Batman 2 and 3. I also got the most awesome one is Lego Marvel Superheroes. So I find that this one is restricted a lot more than Lego Marvel Superheroes, only because it's forced to follow the story of the movies. But as you can tell, it's still a Lego Marvel game. It looks amazing. It plays really well.
Plays like the movie.
Stop the Avengers!
Bust that shit up.
What do we do? Yeah, stab the motherfucker in the hat.
Oh, so you got one health. Do it.
You can pick other players in this?
Sorry?
You can pick other heroes in this?
Eventually, yeah. Just like any Marvel game, you have to play through the main storyline with the characters that they give you at first, but then you can replay the levels with other characters you unlock. So it's just like every other Marvel game.
Cool.
Every other Lego game, I should say, not Marvel game.
What's the point here? I have to push what?
Build.
What's a build button?
B. Come on, bro. You played a lot Marvel Lego game before.
Long time ago. Can't remember all the buttons. Do you remember every single button you pushed?
Pretty much, yeah, because they're all the same. So you can't interact with that character. You gotta. There you go. Now you got it. You can finish building it with Y, like it said. So yeah, you can walk up to it, press X, and use your ability, which is our electric batons, to power it up. But the one thing that I will say that they did really well in this game is, compared to Marvel Superheroes, that is, Lego Marvel Superheroes, this game actually put in a slightly new mechanic where you could do double team attacks.
Okay, I push C.
That's to turn invisible. It's just letting you know you can turn invisible. And scan the area. So what it's doing now, it's showing you the objects. You gotta, there you go, X, reveal that object. You gotta scan like those areas where it's like, right where it's flashing, there you go. And now that you scan those 3 points, see how the thing that dropped down that you can attach to, you gotta be Hawkeye.
Ugh.
Dude, you always are able to interact with stuff.
I'm not used to these games. It's like, what do? I don't know what to do.
Alright, so Hawkeye, you aim, hold down X, and he puts the rope there. Now that the rope's there, you can interact with it. So, what did you think about Age of Ultron? Because this is the level we're basically playing right now. And I like the movie fine, but obviously it's not most people's favorite Avengers movie or favorite Marvel movie, just because it feels a little bit like a rehash.
Yeah, tell me the truth.
Oh, I love all these. I love just breaking stuff in the Lego games.
I had a problem with what's his name, Quicksilver?
Quicksilver, I thought it was okay.
He was okay.
The problem is I don't think they did enough with Quicksilver compared to, let's say, the X-Men movies, X-Men First Class.
No, I love that. I love this character in those movies.
Like, they did something really, really interesting there. Whoop. Alright, so switch over, have her interact with this. take control, clear things out.
I love the Captain America movies.
Oh, the Captain America were the best ones as far as I'm concerned. Even the first one. A lot of people weren't into the first one. I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
I still think it's amazing. How'd you like Wonder Woman?
Oh, Wonder Woman was fantastic. It was probably one of my favorite ones. Just because it was such a great origin story. I think they captured the essence of the character really well.
Yeah, and the mustache of Ares, too.
Ugh, that was the bad part. That was the one part that I did not enjoy. Like, and nothing against the actor. He's a great actor. I just think he was slightly miscast in the role. Or at the very least, they should have had him shave the mustache. Just because it didn't look right. There was
Or
just something off-putting about it. You know what I mean?
Or just like completely change character.
What do you mean change character?
Like, did he really have to be the same face behind the helm? You know, like make it like gods took the form of mortals. Right?
Oh,
like
well,
in mythology.
yeah, I sort of get your point when you say that. Now that you mention it, like if they had him like morph a little more than just being
The same guy with
the
an
same
armor.
actor in a CG armor, I got it. Like that makes sense. So I like how they move from set piece to set piece in this game, but just going back to Age of Ultron real quick. I think it was, as a whole, Avengers movie, really well done. Like, every Avenger got their shot, everyone got their moment to shine. So that was really, really fun, right? I think where it fell short for a lot of people was the fact that it was not so much Ultron as much as it was his generic underlings that they were fighting.
Yeah.
I think people felt a little bit more excited with the first part of the movie where they were fighting the Hydra base and trying to take it over, which is what we're playing on in here.
Yeah, I didn't care much about the...
Where there was a little bit more character development, if that makes sense. Like, the villains felt more real. Like, there was a little bit of a stake there, which I don't think we got with them fighting generic robot minion that all look the same. It's sort of going back to the same problem that people had with the Chitauri in Avengers 1. You know, where it's a nameless, faceless swarm.
And there's consequences for these humans.
Yeah.
Number.
Trying to remember what it is. Okay, just I want to pick up all those points. Yeah, woo! Choo 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 choo.
Who's your favorite Avenger?
My favorite Avenger?
Yeah.
Okay, look, from the movies, it's Iron Man. Because I think Robert Downey Jr. just did such a great job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick from, let's say, the comics, it's sort of a mix.
Me, it's Spider-Man.
Because Fireman.
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man. I thought I heard Fireman. I'm like, who's Fireman? But Captain America is a really important part of the Avengers. I like him best in Avengers stories because he plays the role of the leader really well, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But he's not my personal favorite Avenger. Like, I'll be honest, like, as much as I love the Captain America movies, they are nowhere near, he is still nowhere near, like, the top of my comic pull list when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think, for the most part, if we're talking from the movies, still, Captain America is my favorite Avenger in there, but not my favorite character. If I had to go from the comics, I'm thinking, again, Captain America from the stories is probably one of the most interesting characters when it comes to Avengers movies. Oh, I have to cut around this, that's what I'm doing. In the comics, I'm more inclined to think of people like Black Panther, maybe.
Yeah,
Because he plays an interesting role in the sense that he's not only an Avenger, but he's a leader of his own country.
He's the king of Uganda.
King of Wakanda, exactly. So it makes for interesting political dynamics. I think that's what draws me in more to the Marvel Avengers, is the politics behind it all. Like, each character has their own sort of motivation. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else? Who else could be interesting that I'm trying to think real quick. Oh, speaking of Captain America, there he is. Thor's always been an interesting character, but I find his adventures on his own are way more interesting than his adventures with the Avengers, where he's used a lot like the Hulk in the sense that he's a heavy. You know, he shows up, he beats the crap out of, like, characters that really stand no chance against him. There you go, there's the double team move I was letting you know about. So, like, every now and then you can do double team moves with your teammates. And for those of you that are wondering, I'm not really focusing too much on taking out the villains because they tend to respawn a lot. And obviously, Captain America takes a lot longer to beat them up just because he's not as strong. But I always like the combat in the LEGO games. They're simple enough that they're fun for kids.
It's one button. Smash it!
Oh, here we go. Stuff's happening. That's the one thing I will say. I always enjoy the action in the LEGO games. Ooh, oh, no, no! Ooh.
So Iron Man's your favorite Avenger of all time, or what?
No.
Who's
Like
your
I said,
favorite
when it comes to Avengers stories, I will go with Captain America. But he's not, by any stretch of the imagination, my favorite superhero. I think my favorite superhero, it's sort of a toss. If we're talking Marvel, it's Silver Surfer. I always had a soft spot for Silver Surfer. I thought he's just a super cool character, super powerful too. If we're talking DC, it's Batman. 100% Batman.
I'm not talking universes, I'm just saying one of the Avengers.
Yeah, if I had to pick one from the movie universe, Captain America.
Well, if we're going movie universe, I would say Iron Man. But comic book wise, Spider-Man.
That's the thing I need to double check right now is just how. I'm not sure if the current iteration of Spider-Man is considered an Avenger at this point still. Like, I know he had his membership card at different moments in time, but I'm not sure if it's still official that he's an Avenger or not yet. At this point, with the whole continuity being changed type stuff. It's been a while since I read a Spider-Man comic. I think the last time that I was really reading it, I'm not going to say religiously, but reading it consecutively, had a lot to do with Superior Spider-Man, where Spider-Man was officially dead. He mind swapped with Dr. Octopus, so Dr. Octopus was running around in Peter Parker's body, living his life. And his whole deal was, I'm going to prove that I'm the better Spider-Man, the superior Spider-Man, right? So that was his whole gimmick. So he was a lot more violent, he was inventing a lot more tech. He actually founded a company using Peter Parker's body, Parker Tech, where like he hired a bunch of scientists and was like developing stuff for like the city and the police force and all that on top of his own gadgets and stuff. It was a really interesting comic. Obviously, it didn't last. I think it lasted close to about. Oh shit! I just died. I think it lasted a couple months. I want to say a year, but I'm not sure if it lasted the full year or not. So I'm sort of like unsure about that. But it was a really interesting, fun read while it lasted. Oops. All right, let's use Captain America's shield here. And you know what? We'll actually cut it off here and continue playing next episode. See you guys then.